welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your girl Evidence. So today we'll be talking to the first time car buyer. Actually I was planning to buy my car in 2019, the year that I started working, but I didn't do so because I knew there were a few stuff that I wanted to take care of first. So now we're just going to look at some of the things that I can give you an advice, because I know that people are always like checking for some advices, and a few people did contact me to find out what are the things that you can look for when you buy for a car. I mean, with me, even if when I'm buying for a cell phone, I like research a bit to find out what kind of a phone that I want and what kind of phones that are available out there. It's the same when it comes to buying a car. You need to check what can you afford, what cars are available out there. And yeah, so the first thing that I think you need to look at is how much you earn. I mean, if you earn something like 7,000 rand, might be a little bit too tight for you to buy like a brand new car. So you might consider wanting to buy a used car, whereby maybe you might end up paying something like 1,500, because remember, you need to consider car insurance as well. And as a first time car buyer, you know, the insurance companies, they see you as a high risk, also more of like your age as well. If you are younger than 30 years old, they might assume that you are a high risk, not necessarily because of your personality, but because of your age. So you have to look at that, because sometimes we feel like, oh my gosh, like a car is 2.5, so I can afford it. You forget about insurance. And like most of the people, as their first car, they tend to pay around 1,300 or even if more. However, I was lucky when it comes to my car. It was a demo car, which is regarded as new. When I did the quotation, it was between 1.5, some was, I mean, between 1,000 and some as far as 2,000 rand. But I was lucky because Santam quoted me like less than 1,000, which was good, and I'm still with Santam now. So it's some of the things that you have to really consider. How much are you earning? Are you paying rent? How much are you actually using to buy food, you know, to go out, you know, because you don't want to have a car and now you can't even go out. And you also need to obviously look at how big that car is. When I'm talking about how big that car is, I'm talking about the engine size. You know, I really love my car, and it's a 1.2. I mean, it's so amazing. It doesn't really chow a lot of petrol. So it's some of the things that you basically have to check. But I know that I can talk a lot, so I need to kind of like follow like some notes so that I don't forget some of the things that I want to discuss. And remember, I will just leave you some of the links that I've found very useful, so that I can share with you guys if you want to read some more. Okay, so obviously I've already dealt about, can I afford it? So I've spoken that you have to check how much you earn, what are your expenses like rent, food, and so forth. And then when it comes to affordability, also you have to check on, now if you see I can afford for that car, how big is the engine size? When I talk about more of engine size, it takes us back to the fuel consumption. Because if your car chows a lot of petrol, it means that you'll spend a lot of money to put petrol, and when you have to travel around and go sightseeing, you then have to spend more. Okay, so, and we need to remember that there's some of the roadblocks that can stop you from buying a car. We'll look at some of these things. Remember, some other people, their credit score might be a little bit low. When I'm saying a little bit low, the banks may not want to borrow you some money, because if now you go to finance your car, it means that the bank is buying that car for you. So you owe the money, you have to pay them every month. So likely with me, I think when they applied for my car financing, it was during COVID. A lot of people were actually getting rejected. I think two banks did reject me, and funny enough, I bank with Nedbank and they rejected me. And so many a times they called me that no, I can apply for a loan and so forth. But I guess maybe the car that I bought was a little bit expensive. Like, to be honest, it was a little bit expensive. But then I put down a deposit, which Maybe I think I shouldn't haven't put down a deposit. I should have just taken the car as it was, and then once I got the deal, then pay that money to as my first installment. I think that's the wisest because it drops the value for your loan. But anyway, okay, so it might happen that your credit score it's not as great, or you are being blacklisted, or you are under debt counseling. We see so many companies have came that they are helping you to pay your debt. You know, this debt review, it's not necessarily saying that you cannot afford it, but they're trying to consolidate your loans. If you've got like a credit card, you are paying for your car, you've got like a clothing account. I'm not sure if they include a clothing account, but I'm sure they do include all your loans, your credit card, your car. Basically, they, you know, on the credit bureau, I'm sorry about that pronunciation. English, guys, it's hard. Um, they actually flag you as, I'm not sure what they flag you as, but they flag your ID number such that you cannot borrow more. So you need to look at that as well. That if you're considering to buy a car in two months time and so forth, you shouldn't want to be under debt counseling. And then what else? Yeah, and then also about the payment period, you might consider that if perhaps you wanted to pay off your car in 5 years, maybe consider paying in 6 years, because maybe you might not be able to afford it if you pay in 5 years. But remember, the sooner you pay for that car, it's better for for yourself, because then you're not going to be paying a lot of interest. So yeah, and then another thing, obviously, sometimes we tend to think that, oh, since I've got paying off my car on a credit, you know, every month you have to always pay that 3,000 rand to the banks. No, you don't have to. You know, if sometimes you see you've got like 10 grand sitting there, you can always put it through your car installment. That basically helps you to pay off your loan quicker. And if you pay off your loan quicker, it means you pay less interest. Yeah, and then obviously we know you have to test drive a car. Not necessarily. I mean, the one that I ended up buying, I didn't test drive, but it's because I've looked into so many reviews, and I've realized that that's something that I wanted, and I've basically seen the basic model of the car that I wanted. So I knew that, okay, at least the space it's enough and so forth. Just that the the more of the information system, which is more of the technology part of it, I haven't really tested, but I was really happy. um yeah, so you have to look at all of those things. Let's see what else. So I obviously, when you are test driving your car, you'd have to look at the space. If the space is enough for you. I mean, are you like a family, like are you having like kids? Are you like a family person whereby you don't want to transport your family members to go out, you know, on a vacation and so forth? So you need to look at some of the specs, like the space, the seat adjustment, if you can adjust it very nicely, because you don't want to buy a car whereby the seat adjustment is not as great. You need to look at the boot size, like, which is more of the luggage space, like how much luggage can you put. I think mine is it's pretty fine for 2 to 3 people, but I mean, for a big family, the boot space it's not as big. But I'm not worried about that, because that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for like a comfortable car, a lot of space inside to sit, and you know, I love space. Like the cup holders, I've got about 5 6. It's two, and then 4 5 6 6, it's six, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people that when they sit on my car, they can put their water bottle and all of those other things. So for me, that's what I wanted. And I mean, a little bit of tech, you know, I love tech, I love technology. So I wanted like your Bluetooth, you know, your USB, you know, yeah, your GPS thing, because I mean, you can connect from the phone and then it displays on the screen for GPS. I mean, because nowadays we travel a lot and you go to a place where you don't know, so you want to just view it on a big screen. And so those are some of the things that you need to look at, because I mean, if you know, you are like me, you are like a tech person, You wouldn't want to buy a car that doesn't have like a reverse camera. Like mine has a reverse camera, and I know I'm so terrible with reversing. So I wanted the reverse camera so that I can protect my car, because you end up bumping your car and then you have to pay for access, and that's a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay a little bit extra so that I can have a reverse camera, and it's very useful. Luckily, also I was a little bit worried when I started my new job, because I mean I was gonna be given a car, and I was like, what am I gonna do, because I'm used to a reverse camera. Though I don't always look at the reverse camera, I do look at my mirrors at the back, but I just need a little bit of assurity that I'm fine, because then the reverse camera tells you how close you are to obstacles on your side. So it's something that you need to look at, because you rather pay, I don't know, you rather pay 8,000 more if that's what costs you to get what you really want. Because as soon as you drive that car out of the garage, it's whether if you take it back, it has depreciated. Cars depreciate just like that, which is why we need to consider buying brand new cars. I don't think I'll ever buy a brand new car, because buying a demo car saved me a lot of money. So this car by demo, it's basically a car that is owned by the garage. It hasn't been owned by anyone. The garage probably used it to for the client, I mean the clients to drive around. Maybe the managers go to meetings, or for test driving. So mine was basically used for test driving. It had like 4,000 kilometers. Oh man, I saved like a lot of money, and it was brand new, no number plate, nothing. So I know, because sometimes we like fame here. People just want to see that car without a number plate, that, oh, it's a brand new car. At the end of the day, it's for you to enjoy. It's not for the public. But I know that sometimes we like our image to be seen, and so forth. We want that. But at the end of the day, it's not about people. People are not going to be paying for the monthly installment. You are going to be paying for it. And oftentimes I feel like us as young people, we spend a lot on cars, and we spend a lot on cars and forget about property investment. Because if you are able to buy a car that is a little bit expensive, it will up your chances to perhaps invest in property, because I mean, if you happen to buy for a car that costs you, let's say 2.8, and then with your insurance it costs you almost 4,000, it means that if you are earning between 20,000 to 28,000, might up your chances to either pay off your vehicle quicker, and then you will be able to buy a 2-bedroom flat, which can basically help you as part of investment. You don't have to stay in that apartment. You can always rent it out. So guys, we really need to be wise when it comes to buying a car. Don't jump on it. And remember as well, as you apply for car finance, don't just take the first offer. It might happen one bank offers you 10%, the next bank 12%. I was also privileged, because I mean, I've tried for so many years to build up my credit score when I was in varsity, such as taking a clothing account, even if going to lay-by for something for my mom for 6 months, because they then see that you can pay off things. So the affordability of building your credit score also helps you with the percentage that the banks give you. You might be lucky that you don't really have much credit score, but they offer you a great percentage, because you wouldn't want also your percentage, your loan interest percentage to be high. So the lower it is, the better for you. So guys, I think that is it that I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much for watching, and I apologize for anything that I might have said wrong. And please do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much, guys. Love you loads. Peace.